Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well and welcome to this video and or podcast depending on where you are listening and or watching this. But in this past week, I don't think I recorded a video last week. If I did, no, I did record a video because that was when I was in Florida. I didn't do the podcast because, well, I just didn't feel like doing it. But anywho, so I wanted to start out talking about an update of school stuff since we're getting close to Thanksgiving break. I have two IEPs that have been completed. Really, actually four, because I had two right at the beginning of the year from kids that transferred in, but two that are on my original caseload. So I guess I really have done four IEPs and a couple of ETRs, but ETRs are pretty minimal for that. So as of now, obviously that will continue to not be the case, but I have all my paperwork caught up for the most part. And then I just have to start new paperwork as I will continually have to cycle through different kids' IEPs throughout the year. But as of now, I have a really good handle on that. Thanksgiving break is next week. We have school Monday and Tuesday, and then the rest of the week is off for Thanksgiving. I'll be going home for a day and a half to have Thanksgiving dinner and to visit the family. And then I'll be back to school to make it till winter break and probably have a couple, at least one more IEP before break since I have a due date that's in January at some point. It's always better to be ahead of those kind of things. Besides that, once we get back from Thanksgiving break, I want to start recording for my RESA lesson, which is the assessment that we have to do in our third year of teaching to get our longer license for education. So I'll be hammering away at that. Now that we have groups that are switching for our reading instructional time, grade-wise for both 5th and 6th, I'm able to adjust my groups to have students that will have good behavior and also have the permission for me to record during that lesson. So I have all of that stuff to look forward to. The workout that you're looking at is week 11 of the program, and had a heavy snatch and clean and jerk on Monday. A lot of the work during the week was pretty routine. Had some triples with 205 with the snatch, and a lot of the clean and jerk stuff was pretty routine. Squat stuff and pulls were pretty routine as well. The Saturday was where I was to go really heavy on the snatch. I didn't go as perfect as I would have liked, but I still went really, really well. I didn't have any misses until 230, where I missed it because it just bounced and just kind of fell off my shoulders. I then was able to get 240, but you'll see that I had a bit of an elbow bend on that. And then 250 was just too much weight for me to match, but it was kind of cool considering the amount of volume that I had to do going up to those reps that I was able to even think of attempting 250. With these days, they have a ton of reps before you go to your heavy sets. So I had 155 for 3, 165 for 3, 175 for 2 sets of 3, 190 for 2 sets of 3, 205 for a double, 215 for a double, and then 230, 240, and 250 for single attempts. I'll be very curious to see how they adjust the last week, and that will really determine whether I really buy into what they're doing is if the volume on the last week is really cut down, as it most likely should be. The work that I had after that snatch on the last day was, again, just routine stuff. That was probably the only day of the week where I actually cut down some of my reps. They wanted me to do 2 sets of 3 at 265 for clean jerks. I just did the 1 set of 3, and they wanted me to do a 2x3 on back squats, and I just made that 1 set of 3 just because I was very tired from doing snatches. I had to work very hard. I had 11 sets of that stuff, and just a lot of reps. I mean, really, I had, 8 sets? Well, I'm not going to try to calculate that because some of it was sets of 3, sets of 2, sets of 1. I had a lot of reps with the snatch, and to go up to 240, be able to attempt 250, it takes a lot of energy to go into that. But generally happy with how snatches are feeling really confident with them, and they're just feeling really consistent. I know that early in the program, I really struggled to double anything. I mean, even 205. And I now I'm able to double something close to 215 pretty confidently. And that's perhaps the biggest thing is my technique has improved and my confidence has improved quite a lot. Speaking of the end of the programming, next week is the last week, like I mentioned, and after that, I'll most likely, because I've bought 3 months of this training IQ programming, I'll continue with it with another training cycle. But what I want to do is to make it a 5-day-a-week program so that I am able to add a 5th day in where I just work to some light snatches and clean and jerks with very low volume, and then do some deadlifts and maybe some pressing, but just essentially an accessory day since if I do a 5 day a week program, it won't add any additional volume. It will condense the volume a little bit from what it has, since with the 6 day it was spread out slightly from that 5 day. And then the 6 day will allow me to add some other stuff in there, and perhaps I'll have a seventh day in there where I do some light snatches and clean jerks again. And frankly, if I go in and do singles to like 70 or 80%, it's very, very easy for me to do now because my work capacity is a lot higher than when I started the program. So it won't really be that strenuous to do with that. So I definitely want to get back to doing some deadlifts for no other reason that I just kind of like deadlifts, and I just haven't done a heavy deadlift in a while. And not that I want to go super, super heavy. I just want to do some reps and want to work with some weights that are above 400 and just get that work in because I figure, it'd be beneficial in general to get stronger. And yeah, I think it just will make me a more well-rounded athlete with that. The last thing I want to mention is the podcast I'm listening to, Eric Weinstein and Joe Rogan. A lot of the Joe Rogan podcasts I don't listen to because the guests sound uninteresting or redundant. The redundant guests are the ones like comedians. I never listen to the comedian ones because I don't really care about whatever comedian is on there because most of them I don't know. But with someone like Eric Weinstein talking about physics and space time and all of that kind of confusing stuff is very interesting. So I'd recommend checking that out. But Joe Rogan is definitely, he has some good podcasts. I kind of wish that they weren't all 3.5 hours, but kind of gives you a lot to listen to. So on one hand it's good, on the other hand it can be kind of annoying with that. But that's about it that I wanted to talk about in this week's video and podcast. I hope you all had a great week, and I guess the next time I talk to you is after Thanksgiving. So I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving as well. Peace.